Black fatigue is a collective tiredness that everyone in the country, especially in the United States, has for black people.
Black fatigue. Have you heard this phrase?
Black fatigue. It's all over my FYP page.
Black fatigue is real. Everybody is tired of black people.
Black fatigue.
The month of May seems to mark a lot of celebrations in people's lives. It's the start of the summer, the end of the school year, and that means people are graduating from their high schools and their colleges. A joyous time, a time to celebrate, and a time to just let loose because all your accomplishments and hard work finally amount to something in a diploma or a degree. So when this video started circulating around the internet, you would think that people would have nothing but joy for the people, the young students in the video. But then as I actually tapped into the video and saw the conversation surrounding it, it sparked this nasty conversation about this new racist phrase, black fatigue. Reading the caption, "This is jungle behavior. They act like their tribal ancestors. These are not a socially developed people. These are savages, and whites want segregation. We don't belong around each other. Black fatigue maxing." Now, obviously, that's a race rage bait. I mean, this is a predominantly black school from what I see. You're already segregated from these people. But it sparked a new term, a new dog whistle, the phrase black fatigue. And I wanted to dive deeper into what that means, why people are talking about it, and why it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Black fatigue. This video might make you uncomfortable, but it needs to be made. There's a growing sentiment, most recently, of individuals who are proclaiming they do have black fatigue. And you don't have to be a non-black person to have black fatigue. What does that phrase actually mean? Essentially, black fatigue is a growing weariness of the actions of the quote unquote black community, but it goes deeper than that because we are in 2025 now and we are being judged based on the content of our character and not the color of our skin.
So basically the gist of what this is that a collective of people are grouping in overgeneralizations, you know, memes, excerpts of videos, or just anything that black people do that they don't find socially acceptable and categorizing it as black fatigue. What's funny is black fatigue is a general statement. If you have a certain fatigue of a certain type of behavior, you should probably point it out and call that specific behavior. But painting a picture with a broad brush, calling it black fatigue is just flat out racist and also encompasses the black people that you are, like you are, the right wing, possibly grifting black people. But even if they're not grifting, you as a black person are in black fatigue. You are a part of the conversation. Now, I've seen other videos that talk about specific types of behavior, ratchetness, ghetto-ness, whatever the case may be, and they talk about having fatigue for that. I guess that's a little bit better, but ultimately, if it's black fatigue and you're black, you also get categorized into black fatigue. But let's let him continue on because he was going into this conversation about identities and all this other stuff, and I thought that that was a little bit more interesting.
The lie that's been sold to the black community in particular is that the color of our skin dictates the content of our character. That's why in the black community, sometimes you'll hear people say, oh, you are acting white when they're talking to someone like myself who doesn't act the way most people would expect a conventional black person to act. In their minds, there is a correct way to act black. And the people in your ethnic group who fulfill those very negative stereotypes, those are the ones who are going to essentially drag down the collective whole. And that's why there's individuals who are black who do and can have black fatigue because they see how damaging it is to see the worst of us attract all this negative attention that then unfortunately gets ascribed to the entire race all too often. But what's unfortunate is here in 2025, now we have to contend with the fact that there's people who are so sick and tired of seeing those negative aspects, those negative individuals in the black community attracting all this attention. That's what is spurring this black fatigue. I think it's something that needs to be talked about. And until we turn inward and address the issues in our own communities, I fear that this is only going to continue and get worse.
I do believe the conversation of talking and acting black is an outdated conversation / narrative that most people are having. In 2025, people are seeing that black people come in all different shapes, sizes, and flavors. Now, maybe he is like, I don't know, 60 years old undercover, like he's got a dyed beard or whatever the case may be. But if you are getting hit with claims that you are acting white in 2025, there's probably more to it because we know that black people watch anime. We know that black people participate participate in politics. We know that black people participate in country music, whether it's making it or listening to it. You know, things that would be traditionally ascribed to white people, or things that would traditionally be ascribed to different races or ethnicities of people, or whatever the case may be. So it is not just the way that you act or the things that you correspond with that give you that name, but ultimately it's probably some of your actions. Listen, this is a tired conversation already, and we just begun. It's crazy that a lot of this conversation, at least from my perspective, stem from a celebratory group of young people that have some sort of accomplishment, dancing and singing in the respective homes or respective safe places that they have for one another.
What is it that you want me to say? That it fits the narrative, that it's the perfect stereotype of what people are labeling black culture, that our people want to be respected amongst everybody else in the world, because it's not just the United States of America.
Mind you, this all stems from dancing. Like, when the hell did we get so critical or so, upset about dancing, especially dancing in a non-sexual manner? Like, there's nothing wrong with the way that these people are doing anything in terms of celebrating. They're not, I don't know, destroying street signs or flipping over cars after their favorite sports team won, or they're not punching people or fighting people because they got into an argument that their favorite sports team has won, or doing anything around sports when their favorite sports team wins. People criticizing dancing specifically at a graduation is very weird to me. It's policing, and I think that it's also weird to take the videos and pictures, put the sounds behind it, and overanalyze the situation as a whole, especially when these people are doing what a lot of people would think is something that is celebratory. Even the people who are criticizing, it's great to celebrate a graduation, but you don't do it like this. You don't do it like that. Well, damn, this is silly. But I went down the hashtag of what black fatigue is to see if people were really picking apart culture or picking apart anything worthy of talking about for real, to see more examples of what people are classifying as black fatigue and whether it was just another dog whistle. I really gave this a chance. But the more I scrolled, the more racist it got. Hashtag black fatigue, billions wasted trying to educate a race whose only interest is violence and destructions. Teachers should not have to also be bouncers and bodyguards. Now, don't get me wrong. The behavior being displayed on camera is 100% wrong. My problem is this overgeneralization of people and making it so that a whole race is being covered under the black fatigue hashtag. It's literally dressed up racism. It's people taking these one-off situations, covering a whole society, and then using it as a reason to spread racist rhetoric or segregationist rhetoric or whatever ideologies they have to spread or use or whatever the case may be. There are plenty videos of black people graduating. There are plenty videos of black people that are, accomplishing goals. There are plenty videos of black people just doing what people would generally consider positive things. I don't see that under the black fatigue hashtag. As I look under the hashtag, I do see actions that are deplorable and nothing that I would endorse. But that is not the full perspective and picture of black people. And I also see a bunch of people taking the opportunity to spread their racist rhetoric underneath it. Now, do I think that we all play a part in the conversation when it comes to generalizing a collective of people? Sure. I think a lot of people have painted pictures about whatever group of black people that you want to name, whether it be MAGA blacks or the black community on YouTube and how we paint them as people who only do deplorable actions, or, just black people as a whole, white people as a whole, Mexican people as a whole. There's groups of people that get painted with certain brushes of light, but that doesn't mean that we all should fit under this nasty hashtag of black fatigue or X, Y, and Z fatigue or whatever. Do we hear ourselves? And do we hear the black people in this conversation trying to justify other people getting a racist phrase off?
Black fatigue is real. Everybody is tired of black people, but it's two specific types of black people that everyone is tired of. Number one,
he doesn't even hear how he's sounding. Everyone is tired of black people, including you, but everyone is tired of two specific groups of black people. So if everyone is tired of black people in the first sentence, because adding that but everyone is that doesn't make any sense. If everyone is tired of black people, everyone is tired of you as well. So what are you doing that is also getting lumped into this, and how is that not racist?
Everybody is tired of loud, ghetto, and ratchet, and violent, and mean, and angry all the time. Everybody is tired of them. Nobody wants to deal with them. Even other black people do not want to deal with these people. You know when you see them in public, you know when they're gonna give you attitude at the CVS. Everybody knows it and they wanna avoid it. The second group of black people that everybody is tired of is this sort of like fake black bougie intelligentsia who kind of like walks around telling everybody how they're supposed to think or speak or act when it comes to anything black. These are the most privileged black people in the world. These people have built enormous platforms and have so much money, and yet they are still perpetual victims all the time. And all they ever do is lecture white people about how to talk to or about black people, and then they lecture other black people if they don't talk or think or speak in ways in which they approve. Black fatigue is real. Everybody is so tired of both of these groups of black people that they don't know what to do. So yeah, black fatigue is real, and I got it.
Now, I think Rob Smith has his own personal agenda here when he's pushing his black fatigue rhetoric or conversation, like especially in this second group of black people that are telling him how to think or what he should do, etc., etc. The intelligentsia, whatever he called it. I've never heard people be called that. But I'm gonna be quite honest with you here. I don't run into these black people quite often. Like, these are places and spaces in which I think that he purposefully puts himself in or is taking from the internet or whatever the case may be. And those are the types of people who then get on his nerves because he has to make content out of it. Like, not saying that I don't deal with people who are loud, not saying I don't deal with people who people will classify as ratchet, not saying I don't deal with people who are black and want you to think a certain way. But when I see those people, I just see people, because I also see other people who do the same thing. I don't know. I just don't classify it as something that is race specific. Now, I do think that there is some credibility to like that second group of people that he's talking about. Black people who are becoming informed or are starting to open their eyes and understanding systemic issues for the first time or discovering their identities as they get older. Trust me, I'm a 28-year-old man. I've gone through, growth and maturity in the deep South. Like, I understand that concept, and those people can be annoying. But I do think that people finding themselves on whatever journey that they take can be annoying as a whole. They think that they're more important than anybody else, and everything that they say is gospel because they just learned this new concept or this new phrase or whatever the case may be. But I think that that exists everywhere. Have y'all ever met a teenager who just got excited about this new thing that they learned? And it could be any new thing that they learned. It could literally be that, I don't know, 1,000 pounds of cotton is the same as 1,000 pounds of bricks. They want to let the world know. And it's almost like this new phenomenon, but they're annoying as hell with it. And I don't classify that as any sort of teenage fatigue or whatever type of fatigue. I just think, hey, you're discovering yourself and you're going off the deep end a little bit. Hell, Christians do the same thing quite often when they discover Christianity and they start over-policing everybody's actions. It's annoying, but I understand it's a part of their journey. Now, I will give it to these racist people. They find a new way to come up with a new phrase that honestly has got some fastball behind it. Like, the way that they are able to either co-opt existing phrases or create new phrases is amazing. I didn't even realize that black fatigue was a phrase already, and they've co-opted it for their own nefarious needs. Like, that has to be studied. That has to be one of the greatest superpowers of racists as a whole. Their ability to just make some shit up is amazing.
Why is racism coming back? More buzzwords to justify it. The newest one is black fatigue. Before that, it was DEI. You understand there's never anything good enough for these races, right? Let's explain what black fatigue actually is. Black fatigue is actually a book on how racism erodes the mind, body, and spirit and explores systemic racism and its effect on black people. These racists aren't even smart enough to know the definitions of the words they're using, such as DEI. Why are we giving them any attention? And why are they increasing in number? Most people that are racist have zero black friends, have never interacted with a black person in their life, but they're somehow racist still. Because they're chronically online. You chronically online people need to get a life.
I think one of the points that the last posters made is accurate as hell. You can never please these people. And whoever these people are, I'll let you fill in the blanks. But whether it be, black people criticizing black people, racists criticizing black people, whites criticizing, but whoever it is, you can never ultimately satisfy these people. The goalpost always moves. There's a different way to do X, Y, and Z for any and everybody. And then they also claim that everyone isn't a monolith, but then have issue when you are your own person. Meanwhile, these people aren't actually living or experiencing these people in the real world. They're just taking online examples of people that they see on a day-to-day basis because they are chronically online and using that as a way to justify them being nasty, racist, or whatever they want to be to people. There's no plan of action. There's really nothing to come out of this, but just a new racist term called black fatigue. Now, I do want to take on some of their talking points, especially those from black people. And it doesn't surprise me that they're pushing the black fatigue rhetoric. Obviously, they want their own clicks and views, and there's a way to get them by pandering to whites and others. But I do want to take some of them on because there is something to speak about when it comes to these experiences with black people, ratchet people, ghetto people, or whatever you want to say.
Newsflash, white people don't want to live around ratchet black people, and black people don't want to live around ratchet black people. I mean, it's nothing like going to the Walmart on a Sunday morning and then you see the Bonnet Crew walk in. Loud, obnoxious, the kids are everywhere, in every aisle, unattended. And that's anywhere you go, no matter what. They're highly emotional, highly sensitive. You can't say nothing. You can't even smile and hold the door for them because they'll look at you like you're crazy. And always the victim of something. Either you stepped on a shoe, you looked at them wrong, you told them good morning. They're never happy, they're never satisfied. And you wonder why normal, good black people move out of the hood as soon as they start getting successful.
Now, I'm not a proponent of this, but hey, I sound like a you problem, not an everybody problem. But no, seriously, while I think he was potentially being hyperbolic or telling his own story, because I'm not gonna lie, I've not run into the stereotypical situation of stepping on somebody's shoes and having a nigga moment, as the Boondocks would name it.
What did you say, nigga? Tired as mother.
We all have had situations in which people out in public have done things that we may consider embarrassing or obnoxious or loud or rude or whatever the case may be. And we all want to be away from those people. And I do think that there are shifts in culture for black people, especially going on in 2025. There are people who are separating themselves more and more, finding their own lane, finding their own group. Whether you are in the group of people who like to listen to Sexy Red or don't like to listen to Sexy Red. You understand what I'm saying? The thing about this is that this has always existed. This has always been a thing. There are people that have always listened to screamo music and death metal, and then there's always been people who didn't listen to screamo music and death metal. There have always been people who, went to the church and performed their churchly duties, and there are people who stayed on the secular side. There have always been people who have separated from different groups of people based off of who they are and what they identify with. All these problems have existed before, but now we decided to put a racist moniker on it. Now, I will say this, with as much separation and identities as people have nowadays, I do think that there is a newer problem, and it goes with something that I said earlier, is that people are starting to find themselves more. People are starting to want to find community more, and I think that they exist in bubbles more. But even outside of them existing in bubbles, they are just coming together in groups based off of, what they align with, what their views are. Now, I saw a tweet that really resonated with me because I do think that this is a quote unquote issue. This tweet said it's group fatigue. Antifa, Karens, boomers, millennials, a negative stereotype sucking up all the oxygen, and you get tired of defending/ignoring it or trying to explain how you're not really in that group. Nowadays, people are more vocal than ever. You have a platform, you can make a TikTok, it can go viral the next day. You can put something out on X and it can go crazy the next night. And people are able to share their opinions, group together, get validated in their thought processes on a daily basis. And this becomes people who have groupthink or the hive mind or whatever the case may be. And they're able to attach their values to a bigger group with a bigger label. And honestly, sometimes those groups get out of hand totally. And because we live in the age of not being able to say, you know what, but I was wrong culture. I think that that's like a real thing. When these groups do something bad or go down or, you know, say something negative, people always have to defend it. Like I can't say something about boomers without all of the boomers getting offended, even if the shoe doesn't fit. But ultimately, this whole conversation is a bunch of people who belong to different groups criticizing another group based off of small clips that they see off of the internet and not recognizing the beautiful or majestic or wonderful or excellent things that the other groups have to offer. It's their way of getting hate off on a group, but this time it's racist. Like I can hate boomers and, you know, try to be a little funny with it. And I can even hate on millennials, depending on which calendar you look at. I might be a part of that category, but I can hate on millennials and be a little funny with it, but I'm not going to be racist towards them. This is just another way for people to be racist towards black people. I don't know how that's not seen. Are there things about my community, my culture, my race, my group of people that I may not like? For sure. But it's definitely not kids dancing at graduation or women going to Walmart on Sundays wearing a bonnet. Now, I'm gonna make fun of the group, the Walmart shoppers, because why you going to Walmart to buy groceries? I'm kidding. I know what the economics are like right now. Don't fire the messenger. You don't get those issues at Publix though. No, I'm playing, stop. But on a serious note though, please don't engage with this racist rhetoric. It's stupid. I had to make a video about this even though I did not want to make a video about this stupidity. People are tired of these different groups. Just don't be somebody who is stuck in your hive mind, because 9 times out of 10, you probably belong to a group and you're criticizing a group that you have no real interactions or associations or understanding of. And just because you had a couple of experiences with these people, just because you are a former part of said group, or just because you saw clips on the internet does not mean that you have an accurate assessment of the group. If you want to separate yourself, separate yourself. I find it to be completely easy to separate myself from people that I don't want to associate with. But don't be weird on the internet and play into these racist rhetorics.